Welcome everyone for another Soul Café. Today we are going to talk about how religion views conflict and how we can heal it from a Unionist perspective. And if you are watching from YouTube, please like and subscribe. Yeah, and let's get started our discussion. First of all, let's introduce ourselves. My name is Renato and I'm speaking from England.
My name is Cornelia and I'm speaking from Austria.
Hi, my name is Anupama and I'm speaking from India.
Yeah, great. And yeah, when we chose this topic about how religion views conflict, and it's a very rich topic because we can explore the conflict in any area of our lives. You know, conflict between religions, conflicts between people, different ideas, or how people see, life, and how can we deal with that? The differences. And yeah, something that comes up for me is when you have a conflict, for example, in an idea, you want to be the right one. You want to prove that you are right and other people they are wrong, and you want to convince them that what you are saying is the right thing. But if you approach in a space of control, in a space of trying to convince people or fight, you are not gonna win anything. Because in a place of fight and a place of, let's say, war, doesn't bring anything good. And yeah, I would like to ask you what comes up for you. What do you think about it?
I feel what you said is the hard thing about conflicts is everybody wants to be right. And in Unionism, we teach that it's not about being right, it's about finding the core God in the situation. And with the teaching of Jeff and Shaleia with the mirror exercise, we can come to the core of the core problem in a conflict also. And then you can feel the truth in the conflict. Jeff and Shaleia made a sermon about conflict. When you have maybe a conflict with your mother, or also conflict between countries, or a conflict between religions, this is it's also it's possible to heal this with the mirror exercise, when everybody gets clear about the core upset.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, people, they are afraid of lose truth because they want to convince people, they want to fight, with those things that they believe they are the truth. And yeah, and the conflict you can find in any area of your life. And yeah, for example, religions is one of the oldest type of conflict in history. Catholic Church and Islamic and Hinduism. Yeah, and people, they want to prove that they are right, and they want to manipulate, they want to control society. And you see, like, different countries and religions, they try to get power, like they want to force their convictions because they think this is the way. But actually, that's why we are here. The unionism is here to include everyone. Everyone is here to share and grow together and control the doesn't take us to anywhere, and peace is always the key, you know. And I have been healing this thing of, you know, when you are on the journey and you are walking with God and you are choosing love, but people, they get triggered about love and peace because they said, no, you're not doing right, Renato. You know, if your twin flame did that, you should do that. And yeah, if your brother treated you like that, you should treat with the same way. But I don't need to leak my energy, you know, trying to convince anyone or trying to please anyone or try to, yeah, some people, they are quite passive as well. I was this way in the past. Yeah, this is something I have been healing a lot since when I joined the community, is because I wanted to avoid conflict, especially when I was younger. But I would never stand on my truth. I was very like, yeah, like agreeing with everybody. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I know, I feel like I am saying the right thing. I feel like I'm doing it on the right way, but yeah, I will just agree with everyone so everyone will be happy with me. So this is the other side, you know, conflict. Um, the way that we heal conflict is not being passive. We can stand on our truth and choosing love. No, you don't have to fight.
Yeah, that's in unionism. It's also in religion. Everybody had his opinion and the meaning about the situation. But in unionism, every religion is welcome because at the core we have God, and we teach here that everybody has to be responsible for my feeling, and so we can always come to the truth because God is the truth in all things. And like you said, in your own life, you learn to respect yourself at first place and don't be always the loser in situations, because nobody wins when anybody is the loser. It's only a win situation when everybody wins, a win-win situation. And with the teaching of Jeff and Shaleia, and they are also said in their sermon, we can do it in our personal life and also with the religions, because the core of every religion is God and love and sharing love and sharing God and being with God and live life with God.
Yeah, I just love to what you share. Oh, you, Anupami, wanted to share something.
Yeah, sure. No, please go ahead. I just wanted to add the same what you were going to say, Renato, that it's right what Cornelia was sharing, that at the center of every religion is God. You know, and I've been reading, one of the core books of Hinduism. Well, like an abridged version of the core books called the Vedas and the Upanishads. So the Vedas were the original books, and then the Upanishads are kind of an understanding of what the Vedas are. So when I'm reading that, and these are the oldest, like they're more than 3,000 years old, these books, you know. So the writings are, and so when they talk about God, they talk about God as the center of everything. Mm-hmm. And why they have written this down is to help them and to help and everybody coming after them to understand this truth, you know, and to understand how to live on this planet, and how to and to understand how to always be in communion with God and not be afraid to explore things here, you know, because the truth is God has created everything and then placed us here, you know. That means that, and when we come here, obviously we're not very familiar with how things work or what things are there for. So, when they explored, and when some of them decided to commune with the spirit of everything around them, they understood that this is how, these things work, and this is why they are here, and this is how we can utilize them, and this is how we can survive as a species. And even about farming, about animal rearing, about building cities, irrigation, sewage, all that, everything, they learned by their connection with what they realized is a central source. And they were able to understand that there's unity amongst them, because they could see that, this is there in everybody. And then because they were growing as a group or society, they were kind of like a nomadic tribe, I think, which settled down in one space. And they realize, and they, like in an organization, you delegate tasks to different people who you feel will be able to take on the work. So like that, they had segregations where certain people were going to do so. It was a division of labor, that happened, and everything was going smoothly. And I think the conflict started arising when people started to want or covet what they felt somebody else has, which they felt they don't have. And slowly they started building on that idea. And eventually people forgot that the central source of power is the central source of power, and they wanted to take that power for themselves. So this is what started the conflicts. Like, I think it first started within these sections itself, where people assume that because they've been given a role, that's going to be their role, and that's going to be the role that their children and their children's children and everybody's going to do, especially when they have a little higher role, or they considered higher, like they felt that they were doing something which was closer to the central power than everybody else. And that's what started, what we call war and conflict, when people forgot that God is the center of everything and tried to place themselves at the center of everything. And then made everybody else try to revolve around them, So, and if you see around us, this is the basis of every war that we know, that somebody wants to be the center of that power and wants everybody else to revolve around them. I've never experienced war as such in terms I've read about all the wars. The only war I was involved in a way, not close to, but in the region, was the Gulf War. And I remember waking up every morning. We were in school, so I was hoping to hear that school is canceled for the day because, they are threatening the neighboring countries or something. For us, it was just like, whether school was on or school was off. But, looking back on, what the situation was about, there was also this fear that we may not survive the day just because we are in the same region, and maybe they are going to employ nuclear weapons. We didn't know. But then looking back at it, the reason for that whole war was just because somebody wanted to control the oil fields. Somebody wanted monopoly over the oil, because oil is and still practically runs the world. Who has the oil has the power, has the money. So where does God feature in this? Because God is abundant, and God is, if he's put oil wells in one region, obviously he's put oil wells in other regions too, or other sustainable sources of fuel. But people don't see that. They just kind of, the lack mentality that we talk about, thinking that we don't have that, only they have it, so we should control it if we want to keep our power. This is why war comes about. And when this is at the global level. So when you break it down and break it down and break it down, you see that the wars started on an individual level. When the individual saw that they're not feeling powerful and they're not feeling, at the center of attention, and they wanted that. They didn't want anybody else to have that. And that's what started the whole, conflict. Then of course they have other people thinking the same way coming together, and that's when the groups form. The what we label as separatists, fanatics, idealists, whatever labels they're given. But the core of it is that, like we know over here in the community, the core of it is they just want to be heard and loved and given attention, and they have forgotten where it is from because it has traveled from all those years. So yeah, to be a unionist and to practice this work is to realize this within our core itself, that this is where the separation arises from. And once we heal, because we are the one child of God, once we start healing it within our consciousness, we have seen, like I'm sure you've experienced and I've experienced, like, the upsets that we're working on is like very similar throughout the community. So, and the results that we experience is also similar on the community. So also the upheavals, but that's how we heal it. This is how we heal, by using the mirror exercise, by using map, by not just using these tools, but also embodying the healing, understanding that peace is our core, love is our core, not hatred, not separation, not trying to be better than somebody else, because even that spirit of competition came from the same separation source, that I need to be better than you, then I'm feeling good about myself. I need to get the gold medal, then I feel I have some value. My value is equal to that gold, but your value is just silver or bronze or nothing. You didn't get either of these three, so you're practically useless. I mean, your value is compared to a metal. But we realize that we are far more valuable once you practice, what we do here, and once you embody it, you realize the truth of who you are. And then the solution to war is just to embody this truth. Because, we can go and talk to people, but, they have to arrive at this themselves. The only way to do it is to embody it and live that life, of claiming that peace, claiming that love, choosing it, receiving it, giving it, and transcending the old way. This is what I feel is the way, because it can be quite frustrating if we think about war and the separation, and if we try to heal it through that route, trying to go into the separation consciousness and then trying to heal it, it's a very difficult task. But healing it within ourselves, and then we see, I've experienced, I'm sure you guys have experienced too, that we've had similar warring situations in our own relationships, in our own friendships, work relationships, family. We've had these warlike situations, which we call like, it was like World War III at home, or it was like World War IV, because everyone was choosing sides, either this one side. So we've had those situations, but after doing this work, we see that those relationships have evolved, to something else. So if they are working on that level, definitely, this is what will work on a global level too. And of course, have compassion and patience to, let it evolve. Yeah. This is what I want to say, because it's not nice to be in the center of that chaos, but being in that center of chaos and being able to still have your peace is the winning solution. This is what I.
And being at the center of the chaos is a choice. You don't have to be the center of the chaos. If you choose peace, it's not possible. And something that is coming up that we are, and you were telling as well, is about power. People don't understand what power really means. They think like if you have a control of other people, if you have a control of other countries, if you have a control of, of any situation, you are powerful.
No,
but actually that's not true.
That's not true.
You don't have to be your brother, your sister, your your friend as your competitor. Like, okay, I will show my power with my actions, and then I will win. So this is ego.
Yeah.
And what we see out there, people, they think they are powerful, they think they are higher than other people for any reason, but actually it's only ego. There is no power there.
No, that comes from their fear of losing that power that makes them do all those things and make those choices. And like you said, that's not the true power. The true power comes from peace and from love. And when I said being in the center of chaos, I meant, like, if you're in a situation where things seem to be collapsing around you, then the choice, like you said, is to stay in your peace rather than to give in to the turmoil. Because this is what happens, what I've seen, like when I've read about, or I've seen here, when we have riot situations, we have conflicts between Hindu, Muslim. I've seen that, when people are in the center of it, they feel forced to take sides, or they feel forced to hide. Either they take sides or they hide. So these are two extremes. And then when they take sides, of course, somebody is going to lose. And of course, somebody feels they have won. And when they hide, again, somebody seems to have won and somebody seems to have lost. But in these situations, if you maintain your peace and you move forward from that zone, then that's a better way to bring about a peaceful solution, rather than get embroiled in that fear and anger and frustration. Because we have so much of that happening. Well, I know about India. I'm not sure. Since I'm here, I can speak about it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I really like when you share about India, how things really, really happen, in your country. It's so good.
Yeah, I mean, we've had these situations where it feels scary to go out, and it feels better to just stay at home. But that's not the solution, right? You can't just stop living because of somebody else. So, but this is the way to embody the peace and then bring God into the picture. Don't leave God out of anything. And yeah, we're not, like, when I talk about these conflicts, they don't happen every time, but they have happened quite a lot. We had something happen even a few months ago between the religious groups, and it was a kind of a tense situation. So yeah, this is what, so healing it, being a unionist, it's a good idea.
Yeah, it's about bringing God in all these situations that, like you said, the ego wants to control the situation and wants to control the other person and the other group or the other country and wants to win. And they think when they win and the other lose that this is peace, but that's the lie and the illusion. And with unionism, it's so wonderful. We like Anupama says, we embody the truth, how God really is, and that it can be in our lives, and that it is done for the world. It evolves, and when we become stronger in believing and letting God guide us, and we vibrate higher for other people, and they love, everybody loves God in the core of the heart, but there is only this fear. And with the teaching we have here in unionism, we can heal this fear and let go of the fear and let go of the illusions that we have to fight and that I have to be right. And every conflict can be solved in peace.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Yeah,
And
that's
here,
the only way.
yeah. And here we can heal also religions and we can learn from each other. And I love what Anupama said about what you read and about it's brings so much clarity in this. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I mean, they talk more. They also talk about how to commune with God. But of course, there are different ways. And what I found fascinating always in whatever I've read, including in the book that I'm reading now, is the similarity of the stories of the, who people worship. The similarities of, the like the parting of the sea. We have a similar story in Hinduism. We have a similar story in Christianity. It's also, so that where, so we have, so it's like, how can a story be so similar? But the names of the people are so different. And even the geography is different. It's because it's all originating from the same source. So people need to remember, and the teachings are so similar. How can they be saying the same, virtually the same thing? But maybe in a different, it's expressed using different words, or it's been translated, and therefore it's translated into, what words they have or they use, but it's basically saying the same thing, and that's what always fascinated me. So if the religions are so different, how come these things are so similar? It doesn't.
At the core, they teach the same thing.
Yeah, because they are all centered around the common theme of God. And God in none of the books is God a punishing, evil, cold, angry God. This is the other thing that people justify war as, that God has asked me to do this war. They have misinterpreted some of the teachings, and said that this war is God's war or for God. God doesn't ask you to go war and kill everything that He's created. There's no, if there is a reason for war, it is to release that separation consciousness. Even though use of the word war is like very, very heavy, but it is about releasing that separation consciousness which takes you away from who you are and coming back into your own truth. That's the only fight or sacrifice or war, if any, is mentioned in the holy books as they claim. This is the only war that God asks you to do, to release that way that is taking you away from God, and fight that out, take it out, and come back.
Just release it.
Yeah, it's not about fight that person. It's just like, you have this war within you. So bring the peace there. It's literally like, there's an angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other shoulder. They're fighting with each other. So I was talking about this to someone the other day. Like sometimes my mind is like, in two, like I have an angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other. And both are like telling me what to do. And I don't, and I'm like, okay, I choose the angel, but the devil seems to be speaking louder. That's the place where we need to bring the peace.
You are bringing something so good, because we were talking about conflict between religions, conflict between countries or people, but what about the conflict within ourselves? You were saying about the angel and the evil. So yes, I have been experiencing something like that on my journey. Last week I saw myself like fighting against my emotions, like trying to push my emotions away. And this was a conflict. I felt like conflicted because I was choosing peace, I was choosing love, but I was fighting against ego rather than simply choosing love. And this is something that's coming up in the community for a while. And in a conflict, what do you feel, guys, about inner conflict? If you'd like to share something.
Like how to move through it for us? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, if you have any experience you want to share.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I have this experience every day still. old way, saying, no, go back to the old. It's comfortable. You know that. You know the turns and the way and the directions. Why do you want to go somewhere new? And the new way will be like, no, come here. This is where you'll find your peace and love. And I'm like, ooh. So it's about, this is where your feelings and trusting your intuition, your heart comes into the picture. And this is the daily war that we have to release within ourselves. And yeah, I've had this where this is part of the separation consciousness that we also speak about, and Jeff and Shaleia address that separation consciousness is what is keeping us separate from everything that is ours, including our basic foundation of our relationship with God, and even our understanding of who God is and how God is and what God is, So it's about remembering to choose that, remembering to choose the good feeling. Because why I said the angel and devils, I remember seeing that in a cartoon as a child. I think it was a Tom and Jerry or something. Tom was trying to choose something, and one side is the wings and the halo, and the other side is a pitchfork saying, do that, And then I saw it in a music video many years later, I think, Shaggy's, where he sings, I don't know if you've heard of that song. It's called Angel. That's the title. In that also the same picturization comes. So yeah, it's about making the choice, claiming the choice, and receiving your choice and seeing it all the way through. Now we know, we have the awareness of what doesn't feel good, and we want to feel good. So this is how I transcend that. I go with the good feeling and choose also to release the old feeling, because I know that it didn't serve me. And yeah, of course, it's layers, but I'm choosing also to be compassionate with myself and have patience. Yeah. How about you guys?
When I'm feeling I have a conflict or I'm fighting against the good feeling, I'm making the mirror exercise. Yeah. Every time. I'm just doing it, and I'm writing it down and doing the mirror exercise, and then I can make from a peaceful place a new choice. And with God, I always invite God. When I'm feeling I'm really in a conflict with myself and with my emotion, I always invite God and the angels helping me when I'm in this conflict, like you said, with the devil and the angel. I always invite God helping me, and I'm just doing the mirror exercise.
Yeah.
And when it is 10 times a day, then I'm doing it again. I'm not, I did it not for the whole, I'm just doing it always. And then I can make the new decisions, like you said. And sometimes I'm doing it more and then not so often. How I'm just choosing to be honest to myself and with my feelings, and if there is a conflict, that's okay. I have to realize it, that I can heal it.
Yes, exactly. What you said is perfect, that that awareness that we can heal anything is very powerful also, using the mirror exercise and MAP. For me, right now, I'm doing another round of MAP. So this is why I keep reaffirming my choices that I've made, and, being compassionate while I release the traumas, or, whichever things were not serving me. That you're bang on, the mirror exercise and being aware that we can heal. How about you, Renata?
Yeah, what's coming up for me is that we don't have to struggle. It's okay to experience a conflict. It's okay to move through, the emotions and move through any situation. And yeah, it's all about what you guys said, being compassionate with ourselves, not judging or healing. This is very important. Yeah, this is something I have been learning as well. not judging my healing, only trusting God, surrender to God, surrender everything to God. And yeah, and just find our own peace, the peace that we already have within ourselves. And that's how we heal conflict, conflict within ourselves, conflict with people, conflict, any type of conflict that's happening out there, we can heal it here all together. We have healed so much in this community. If you watch LGBT lives, Black Lives Matter, everything that we have been healing together, as one in a collective, has been reflecting back to us. We have seen things happening, in America, the Catholic Church, they accepted the gay marriage, LGBT marriage, because we have been healing here.
Absolutely.
We are healing everything. So that's how we move forward.
Yeah. I love the LGBT and the black the BLM lives that we have, because it is so important. Because if you see that what we are talking about, the religious wars or all the conflicts are in those areas too, and it's so important to bring peace everywhere, and we're doing it, step by step, and it's working and it's helping. So it's good to heal this with unionism.
Yeah. We got some comments. Shaleia said, "Hey guys." Hey Shaleia. Yeah. Robin Lee said hello. Hello, Robin.
Hi, Robin.
Hi. Jasmine said, "Beautiful discussion. Thank you for mentioning this, Anupama. It's a powerful message." I don't know what part was it, but yeah, let's consider like everything you said.
Everything. Yeah. Thank you for being here.
And Robin Lee also said, "I am on the twin flame journey and I am an Iraq war veteran. So it's definitely interesting to have experienced this contrast in my life. I definitely have a different perspective of war these days."
Yeah, I remember the situations in Iraq. It was also very close to us. So it's quite tense. As I said, even if you're not close to a war zone, you still feel the effects of it. Like in the Gulf War, we had, even though we were not so close, we still had, that because of the bombings and the fire from the oil wells that were set on fire in Kuwait, we had that smoke travel all the way to where we were. So it was, it's not a nice place to be in. I don't even want to discuss how the people there were going through. It was not a nice situation at all. So we can really heal that, and to know, first of all, to know that we can heal this is a huge awareness and relief and a blessing. Because otherwise, it's, if we didn't have that, we would just continue going into more situations like those war kind of situations. But now we are choosing to heal and we're choosing to ascend. So there is more to look forward to. And that feels really good. That feels really good to bring unionism, peace, and love and God back where they belong.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Yeah, I think this is an invitation for all of us to find that part of ourselves that is still choosing conflict somewhere. It can be any area when we hold things too tight, when we if we have any part of our lives that we are still struggling and not letting go of the things that don't serve us anymore, it's always safe to make a new choice. And we don't have to wait for tomorrow. We don't have to wait for our next coaching session. We don't have to wait for the New Year's Eve. We don't have to wait until the 11/11 portal. We can do it now.
Yeah. We can choose to see God everywhere right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And starting with ourselves, we can choose to receive God right now. That's the beginning of your peace. It's choosing and receiving and claiming God in you, in your life, in every area of your life, all the time.
Yeah, because God is always present with ourselves.
Yeah.
He's not out there.
No. And that was the basis of the books I was reading. But they were saying that they clearly mentioned that you don't have to do anything outside of you to talk to God. You just have to discover the God within you. Because God has never left you. God could never even think of leaving you. That's why God is within you.
Yeah, that's
You just
beautiful.
have to accept it and receive it and let it flow.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's God. Beautiful.
How are you guys feeling?
I'm feeling very emotional, but I'm feeling very good and complete too.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm feeling very peaceful and complete.
Yeah, just going to check if we have any comments. No, that was everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a really great discussion. Is everyone feeling complete?
Yes, it was very good. Thank you, guys. It was a very enlightening discussion. Very peaceful coming to this, Yeah.
Yeah. It's time to make a new choice. Yeah. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you very much, people who are watching us. I hope you're really enjoying it. And see you next week for another Soul Café.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
See you.
Bye. See you.